I hope you're all sitting down because I've got some shocking news. I'm fishing, that's not shocking, obviously, but I'm not on Southbourne, and it's not night time. Yay! I've come to, hopefully you can see that in the background, not too bright and sunny, Cogden. I've come down to Cogden today to do a little bit of plaice fishing. And I'm very, very excited because the weather is absolutely gorgeous. This is my first daytime session this year, and I'm already thinking I'm overdressed. So happy about that. I am meeting the famous, all-round good bearded dude that is Wayne Hand, aka the Shorehunter. I'm meeting him here, and we're going to do a day's plaice fishing at Cogden, Chesil, which I'm thoroughly excited about. We'll see how we get on. So here we are then, the wonderful Chesil beach. Glorious day. I don't fish down here anywhere near as much as I probably should. Partly because I think the fishing I have on my doorstep is so great, and partly because I'm too cheap to spend money on diesel coming down here. But anyway, great opportunity today to get out and daytime fish. Something that's increasingly difficult at home. Fishing Southbourne, sandbanks, places like that for plaice, just bedlam with people and dog walkers and stuff, it's a nightmare. So Chesil's a little bit quieter, isn't it? Don't know if you can see that guy over there, that's Wayne, and great opportunity to come and meet up with him today. Have a fish, haven't fished with him for ages. And I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously the target is plaice. It is middle of March. Right at the, I'm going to say right at the beginning of plaice season. I suppose technically it is, but they have been around for a couple of weeks already. Here and there. So it's going to be a really nice relaxed day, really. Simple stuff, plaice. I've got rag, I've got lug, I've got some mussel as well. Something I always used to use quite a lot for plaice. They're quite often feeding over mussel beds, so why not use mussel as bait? You can buy like the sacks from supermarkets, or the live ones, they're great, but they're a right pain in the bum to constantly crack open and scoop out and whip on, that sort of thing. So the guys at Riot Baits have just started doing little packets of mussel meats. They're pre-cooked, which actually makes them a little bit tougher to go on the hook, which is a bonus, and they're out of their shells, which is a massive bonus. So no shredded, cut to pieces fingers. That's a bonus. So yeah, so I'm going to fish lug, rag, tip off with a bit of mussel, chuck it out there, hope for the best, really. I am going to fish two tactics actually. I'm going to fish one rod with a Bagnall bar, obviously. Couldn't possibly leave home with that one, could I? And on the other rod, I am going to put just a flapper. So I'm going to put one sort of closer range, I don't know, sort of 60, 70 yards maybe, and let that sort of bounce around on a plain lead. Hopefully I can find a bit of tide. And the other one, obviously on the Bagnall bar, is going to be whacked out as far as I possibly can. So, you know, 70 yards. I don't know how far I'm going to cast, but we're going to whack it out there. But I'm still going to use plain leads. I'm still going to use planes. I've got everything from sort of 3-ounce balls up to sort of 6-ounce. So depending on the state of the tide, we're going to fish the entire flood today. So depending on the state of the tide, I will adjust the lead. So when there's not a lot of tide, I'll go as light as I can, see if I can still get that little bit of movement. So the idea, we're going to have a rising tide, which means that the tidal pull is going to be right to left here, as we're looking out to sea, so west to east. So I'm going to cast it at sort of like 2 o'clock and let it sort of just bounce round, and by the time it's got round to about sort of 10 o'clock, bring it back in and repeat the process. So I'm covering that nice sort of area of ground. A little bit like a boat would when it's sort of drifting for plaice. There are clay beds further out here. So on the Bagnall bar rig, on the distance rod, I'm going to try and obviously locate the plaice beds, well hopefully the plaice beds, the clay beds. On the inside rod, I think it's just a case of chucking it out and letting it bounce around, really. I have got grip leads, so if the tide does get particularly strong at any state of the tide, I can use a grip lead. It still can travel. So it's worth bearing in mind if you're going to do this sort of fishing to take a selection of different leads. So you can always sort of like adjust your lead depending on the state of tide and that sort of thing. So you've always got that little bit of movement, but not too much. You know, I don't want to chuck it out to 2 o'clock and then 5 minutes later it's all the way down there. That's going to be too far. I want it to just be gently sort of bouncing down tide. That's the plan. Before I forget, a couple of shout outs. First of all to a guy called Wayne Morgan. He's got a YouTube channel, Angling Addict 75, go check that out. I fished next to him on this very beach a couple of weeks ago in the SLO match. Really, really nice guy. Not just saying that because he said a whole bunch of nice things on his video about me, but the video he put up of the SLO match was brilliant. It was a really great watch because everything he was going through, all the emotions that he was going through that he portrayed on video, were exactly everything that goes through my head every match. So it was kind of fascinating to see that. It's a really good video. Go check out that, Angling Addict 75. My other shout out is to one of my fans, India Stone. I'd just like to say hello, India. I hope you're enjoying the videos. Your daddy says that you are, so good stuff. Hopefully see you out fishing one day. All the best. Before I get too engrossed in the fishing, I've got my first cast out. Where are we? So, just want to show you something. I don't know if any of you guys are into foraging, cooking your own food that you catch and find yourself. Back of this beach, and to be fair, pretty much all the way along the coast, it's one of the most common edible plants you can find. It's one I love. It's called sea beet. So I'm just going to wander up to the back of the beach, see if I can find some. Right, all of this clumps of stuff here is sea beet. This is an edible plant. This time of year is quite nice because it's spring, sort of smaller leaves. That is sea beet. You can use it in instead of spinach. It holds its shape and it's not just watery and dissolves into nothing like spinach does. It's quite nice and tasty, that is. But there's loads of it. It's all the way along, sort of back at home, you know, Southbourne and on the cliffs and all that sort of thing. It's just tons of sea beet everywhere. Worth looking out for. Do a little Google search on it, see what we can find about sea beet. There's tons of it. It's nice. The one thing I would say, don't ever eat anything you find unless you're 100% sure. Certainly don't use my video as identification purposes. Right, let's have a little look at rig and bait presentation for the day. Now, I've got some blow lug, some ragworm, which is actually over there in the box. I've just cast out the ragworm, and some mussels, some of these white bait cooked mussels. Now, as I said before, Plaice love a bit of mussel, so don't ignore that. You can obviously catch Plaice on just plain worms, but I like to mix things up a little bit. Ooh, stuck a hook in my leg. Good start. So I'm going to use a Bagnall bar. Hopefully you've come across these on my videos and stuff before. This time, rather, unlike my ray bars, so the bar is exactly the same. That's the beauty of the bar. The bar is always exactly the same. It doesn't matter what I'm fishing for. Well, that bit there is always the same. The snood changes. Now, I've dropped down from the 050 Maximum Chameleon that I use for my rays to an 040 Trillium XL fluorocarbon. So slightly finer, slightly lighter. And I've gone with a size 1 Camazam B940. And I've got a nice pink rubber bead there. I think I've got some pink ones, some yellow ones, some orange ones. It doesn't really matter. Just a little dash of colour. I think the main part of the colour and attraction is actually coming from the lead. The reason why I do that, the reason why I don't like big huge strings of beads and all this sort of thing is because it'll reduce your casting distance, simple as that. Whereas a coloured lead won't. A coloured lead is going to cast this as well as a non-coloured lead. So you can keep your distance up whilst adding visual attraction with your lead. So let's do a little bit of blow lug. If you haven't used blow lug before, they've got this little sort of tail bit down here, which I tend to cut off, full of watery guts and stuff, which I tend to squeeze out. Thread it on as you would normally. You can obviously use a baiting needle should you wish, like so. And then I'm going to just hook that on. The nice thing about these cooked mussels is they're a lot rubberier than raw mussels, so they are a little bit easier. So I'm going to use my little 2-pronged baiting tool, as I do with my sandhill, splat, squid, crab, black lug, everything I use basically. 2-pronged baiting tool, spear it through, give a little light whipping. But it is relatively tough, to be fair. Just kind of whipping the end of that lug as well, just so it sort of holds the two things together, sort of creates a one bait, as it were. Snap it off, slide that out. There we go. Just push that down to the end. Make sure your bait stop is there, and that's going to be my next cast Plaice bait. Bit of blow lug, tipped off with a bit of mussel. I'll mix it up throughout the day. I'll fish some lug, some rag, some tip mussel, etc. etc. See how we get on. Right, so we are an hour and a half into the session, no fishies yet. The tide has just started to pull though, which is a good thing. So we've just got a little bit of tidal movement. Was the first hour sort of over slack low, not a lot was happening, so hopefully find a fish or two there. With that in mind, I've been, just for the first hour, just putting my baits out, both on Bagnall Bars as far as I can. So now I'm going to crack open my flapper. I'm going to fish a 2-hook flapper. Reasonably long snoods actually. I've got 4-foot snoods here, probably a little bit excessive, but just happened to be what I dragged out of my box this morning when I was panicking, thinking I've forgotten my flappers. I've got a size 2. This is a Gamakatsu LS5013. It's a lovely Aberdeen pattern. To be honest, there's lots of great Aberdeen patterns on the market. This is one I use quite a lot of, alongside things like the Camazans. Sorry, I thought I saw my water tip move, got excited. I think it's just moving with the tide. Yeah, so it's a 1 up, 1 down, which means you've got a hook at the top of the rig and then a hook trailing below the rig. Lead, get it right in a minute. And I'm just going to use a ball lead, a 4-ounce ball lead. So hopefully I can still get a little bit of distance. It's a bit of wind picked up. You might notice the hoodie's on, a little bit chilly. So a little bit of wind sort of coming in at us, so I can't go down too light with the legs. I'm just not going to get out there. But hopefully a 4-ounce will still get me far enough out to catch Plaice. Obviously this one I'm not going to put as far as the bar rig. But yeah, a couple of baits on the flapper. Chuck it out maybe sort of 60 yards-ish from that. See if I can still pick up a little bit of movement closer in. See what we can do. So here's something that may or may not interest you. The rod on the right has thicker line than the rod on the left. Now that is only 0.06 millimetres thicker, which sounds like an absolutely minute amount. But when it comes to fishing line, it's actually a fair bit. So what's happening here is the rod on the right is picking up a nice bit of tide. You can just see it pulling over slightly more, and it's also trotted up, or trotted down tide, sorry, further than the left-hand rod. Now obviously there's pros and cons to that. Certain situations you don't want the tide, certain situations you do. I mean, for instance today, I want that sort of a bit of tidal movement. So I might even switch over my spool on my left-hand rod and make it a slightly thicker line. Just so it just picks up a little bit of tide and just bounces around the bait a little bit more. So there's something, a little bit of food for thought for you when you're looking at lines and things. Well, the switch to a flapper worked, kind of. First Plaice of the day. Admittedly it's tiny, but it's still a Plaice. It came on the flapper about sort of 60 yards out. And Mr. Han next door to me just reeled in a fish as well.
You probably prefer that as a dogfish.
A doggy!
Oh, your favourite.
Oh. No, it's not a pouting. I get very excited if it's a pouting.
Amazing. That's like a
But that is, it's like a Plaice but smaller. Yes.
Well, that is a beautiful little fish, mate.
It's the start. That was on the first cast on the flapper close in as well.
As we said that,
now,
didn't we?
let's not read too much into that, but it's...
I'm going now. Have got any flappers?
Yes.
No, that's fine, yeah.
Yeah, £20 each.
Standard then.
Absolutely. But there we go, it's a start. First Plaice of the day.
That's brilliant, mate.
Let's get it back so it can grow bigger. And yeah, chop my flapper back out. Happy days.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's now an official Plaice feature.
It is, yeah. Not a dogfish feature.
Not a dogfish feature. We're a good few hours into our session so far, and it's not been amazing, has it? Let's be honest. One micro Plaice and one fine dogfish from my mate Wayne. For those of you who don't know, this is Wayne Hand, aka the Shorehunter. He's a great guy, good friend of mine, great angler, and he's also a coach and guide. So if any of you guys actually fancy going out with somebody who will show you the ropes, teach you how to catch fish, tap him up. He's a good guy. You got, actually, to be fair, without blowing the trumpet up your bum too much, you've got quite a good record, haven't you?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you have actually.
I have, yeah.
You don't have many blank sessions with your clients, do you?
No, I suppose you're only as good as your last session.
Yeah, okay, so how was your last session then?
Yeah, it was alright, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. It was good. I think, obviously guiding, there's a lot more pressure on guiding.
Oh, it's massive, yeah.
Because a lot of people who can fish, they all can, but some people can't. A lot of people come for guiding because they don't know an area.
Yeah.
Which is, like, obviously, somewhere like Chesil, people see fish being caught on Chesil Beach and they think you can just turn up, cast out, and you're going to put in a £10 cod every cast. But as we know,
it must be one of the most, certainly one of the most famous beaches in the country, but certainly the most publicised, isn't it? I mean, there's always photos of people with fish down here, but then there's always fishermen down there, isn't there? So
yeah, there's.
I mean, it's a venue I don't fish anywhere near as much as I used to, probably anywhere near as much as I should. And I don't really know why. I just kind of got the habit of coming down. But you love it, don't you?
I do love it. Yeah, it's an hour from home for me, so I'm sort of slap bang between the Bristol Channel and Chesil. I'm 40 minutes from the Channel.
Hence the accent.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got his own combine harvester and everything.
Yeah. And well, I have, yeah. And an hour from Chesil. I absolutely love it. It's a beautiful place to bring people to coach because it's nice and flat. Well, flattish compared to a lot of places around the Bristol Channel. The tide comes in and out, whereas if I take people at the Channel, it's in, round, upside down, all over you, 14-metre tide.
Yeah.
So I just love coming here, and you've got a chance of a massive fish, but you've also got a chance of blanking, and it can be, well, people call it the beach of broken dreams. I don't think it's that. It's just an absolutely beautiful place to be, obviously, as you can see. No,
I mean, so far it's breaking my dreams that I had last night, but I'm not unhappy I'm here.
I don't know, I think when you do a lot of your fishing, you obviously catch a lot of fish.
That's because I go fishing a lot.
Yeah, but you go for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And you've caught a Plaice today. For me, I'm chuffed with that.
That's almost, I mean, in a year's time it might be a Plaice.
No, it's a target.
It was a target species.
It was a target. I know you seem a bit down, but I think it's...
Oh, no.
I know, it's not massive though. I think it's because you enjoy eating your food, and we definitely couldn't have had that one, could we?
No. Plaice whitebait, that would have been.
I know, yeah.
But there we go. But it is a nice venue to be.
And you just never know. Like we said before, I've had days where you come out, hadn't had a bite all day, and then, like I was mentioned to you earlier, I was out coaching, we hadn't had a bite all day, there's just some Chesil up, middle of winter, guy's rod gets ripped off the rest, £14 spur dog.
That is a special
in the middle of winter.
Fish. Yeah.
And it's like...
I've never caught a spur dog.
Well, that's Chesil Beach, isn't it?
Yeah.
If,
you
know,
just suddenly throw up something like that, can't it?
In one sentence, that's
it could have been a 6-ounce whiting, or it could have been a £14 spur dog, and yeah, the guy got lucky on the day, I suppose. But
that's good. But we're having a good day. We're out. We're fishing.
Yeah. So go on, a quick plug. If you're interested in guiding or wanting someone to teach you how to, you do it all, don't you? Casting, baiting up, venues. You did a lot, really, don't you?
Yeah. I try.
Yeah. Check them out. Facebook, Wayne Hand or the Shorehunter. YouTube, the Shorehunter. There's loads on YouTube. Does a lot more than I do. But yeah, check him out. Good guy.
Thank you. Thanks for your kind words, and thanks everyone. See you again.
Have that £20 now. What have you done?
I didn't see another one.
Is that a dab?
It's a Plaice.
Oh, it's a Plaice. Sorry.
Well, I only got what we're targeting, aren't we? I didn't know it.
Get in.
Some of the cool one. Look at that.
It's like a fish, but flatter.
I don't know if it's bigger than yours. Look at that. Makes that rod look like a 4. That's only a 2.
Well done, mate. That's our second place in. How long have we been fishing for now? 4 hours?
3 days.
It's not been good. I mean, I don't know how well this is going to come out on video, but it's roughed up. The wind's straight in at our faces now. It's a little bit coloured up and that sort of thing. So I'm not surprised it's not been brilliant, but The man has caught one. It's 1-1 on the Plaice front.
There you go.
For a reverse sweep, awesome power.
I was just about to say success for Wayne.
Between these two.
But Stokesy's just hit a 4. That's how my fishing's going. The cricket's now on.
Good power, good placement.
We're doing well. Beautiful reverse sweep. Anyway, you don't want to watch me watching cricket. Yeah, so Wayne just had a Plaice. That's 1-1 on the Plaice front, although he is thrashing me 2-1 on the overall fish front. Yeah, it's really roughed up, it's chopped up. It's not the ideal conditions we wanted. Building in excuses there.
He's gone the other way this time, and he has gone along.
And that's a 6. Test cricket, he's gone 4-6. I love Stokesy. Anyway, that's another Plaice. Bit of a renewed enthusiasm. That's easy for me to say. I don't know what time it is. Oh, it's only 3:15, so we've still got a good couple of hours still. Maybe there'll be a little late flurry, maybe just before high, on the build up to high, there'll be a flurry of fish. Let's be confident. Let's go at it like Stokesy would and fish hard. Well, it wasn't to be today, guys. It has been a long day, isn't it?
Yeah, long for you.
It's been a grueler. I'm unused to 3 hours down Southbourne. This is what time did we must have got here about 10:30?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
It's not too bad. Could have had 3 sessions in that time. 6 o'clock now? No, 7.5 hours. Yeah. That's well over 2 of my. But there we go. 1 little tiny Plaice each.
Yeah.
So you know, technically, it was a successful Plaice trip.
And the
Clutching at straws a little bit. Big full moon's just coming up over the hill. Funny big ball of fire's just setting over that side. Wayne's just had a couple of dogs. So for me, that signals time to pack up and run away home. Sorry we couldn't get a little bit more Plaice action, but it's early. It is early, to be fair.
Yeah, it's the 16th of March.
Let's build in some excuses. I mean, we're fishermen. This is what we know. We specialise in excuses. So
It's about being out here.
it's a little bit too early. It's about fishing, not catching. The wind definitely picked up more than we thought. Kicked up a little bit of
bait
sea.
was crap. No,
the bait was great.
No,
Yeah.
it's from your shop. No, it was brilliant bait. We couldn't have done no more. Oh no, the rigs. Oh no, that's
No, that might
Bagnall
make
Bars.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good as well. No, we have tried.
We did, yeah,
We had a lull at lunchtime, where we didn't try that hard.
Yeah. Then I started watching the cricket.
Yeah. We didn't go to sleep. But the last hour or 2 hours, we've literally.
We've had
Really
every
fun.
15 minutes we've been in and out, changing the baits. It's actually because the baits have been being stripped a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, crabs, shrimps, prawns, whatever it is out there. And I always think it's actually quite a good thing because it keeps you honest.
Yeah.
You know, if you're reeling in a bait after 30, 40 minutes and it's still immaculate, you just get lazy, you're just like, oh, just leave it out there. But if it's getting stripped quickly, it keeps you honest, keeps you working, keeps your fresh bait going out.
Yeah,
So, you know, a positive from a negative.
it's what it is.
It is.
It's March.
It is.
It's like 16th of March, and you know we've had a couple of little plates.
Yeah, exactly that. So we'll get back down here in a couple of weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, we do one further, closer to you.
Yeah, we'll lovely. Maybe look at sandbanks or something. And yeah, that'd be cool.
Where? Yeah. No, jokes aside. Yeah, we'll get up nearer to you. The plates obviously are at Brighton way early. They do tend to be around Sandbanks area now, don't they?
Yeah.
This is definitely early for Chesil.
There's been a couple of nice ones off of sort of Hengersbury and the Southbourne in the last sort of week. So
We'll redeem ourselves.
we shall redeem ourselves. We will be back. But I'll be back here as well.
Yeah, you need to come
I need to itch that scratch properly now.
Yeah, good. But anyway,
But there we go.
thanks for today.
Onwards and upwards, eh? Update. 2 tiny Plaice. Just reeling in me rod, just cracking down. As you can see, it's all gears gone.
Yes. Well done, mate.
How good's the zoom on that camera?
Good enough.
Well, just got to the top of Cardiac Hill after a long day on Chesil. Did have a couple of Plaice, and just my luck, I winkled one out on my last cast, and I've packed up and I'm just walking past Wayne, and he's winkled out this cracker last cast. I say cracker, it's a nice early season Plaice, and it's like bigger than the 2 I caught. So I'm wondering now if I'd wasted 7 hours on the beach and missed the best hour of the day? Probably. Just my luck. But there we go. So that's 2 plaice each. I can officially say plaice season has started. So get your worms, get your rods, give it a go. Ciao for now.